Have you been a victim of mugging? Did you let the muggers take what they want, or did you try to fight back? Has it affected how you feel about living in your area or forced you to change the way you live your life? Were the offenders ever found and brought to justice? Do you feel like the punishment fit the crime? First of all, we have to define what mugging is in order to get a clear understanding about this issue. Mugging is the subject of considerable fear, affecting the quality of life of many. Mugging offenses are those that involve some threat or use of force or violence. In addition to generating fear, street robbery seems to encapsulate many of the problems associated with the inner city. People who mug see this as a simple way to achieve money because they don't have job and they don't earn any money. It is really difficult for them to survive. They don't try to improve their existence, so they mug. Mugging is described as a pickpocketing articles taken from bags but not the bag itself, including briefcases, shopping bags, jewelry, mainly gold chains, wallets, IDs, personal stuff, laptops, cell phones, including checkbooks and credit cards. The victim might or might not be physically injured. In fact, we can see muggers and people being mugged everywhere, but there are some places with a higher risk of being mugged. For example, one of my friends at university who was mugged on Metimar Bridge a couple of weeks. He said that it had been awful and that bridge was too dangerous to walk by. That's the reason why we started to investigate about the insecurity problem around the university. And it is a fact that at the University of Tolima there is such an insecurity problem and that it gets worse by the Metimar Bridge. This issue is affecting not only students but also workers and passers-by. There are several causes of this problem. The bridge itself is one consequence. People who go by the bridge they cannot run away because they don't have a way out, and that's the reason why they are mugged. In fact, people who work around the bridge know the situation. Let's listen an interview we made to Maria talking about the bridge.
La parte clave de ellos robar es este pedazo. ¿Por qué? Por el puente, por lo solo. Sí, por el monte. Es fácil atracar porque ellos atracan y se esconden. Entonces, cuando la policía llega, ya no hay nadie. Entonces, así uno ya ve a la policía, pierde el tiempo. Igual el puente es la parte más clave de ellos. ¿Por qué? Porque la gente llega al puente, uno para dónde corre. No tiene para dónde correr.
The bridge is surrounded by blind spots in both sides. On one side, under the bridge, there is room and a person fits perfectly there, so muggers can take advantage of this place, and it is impossible for passers-by to notice any presence. Next to the bridge, there is a way which they use to escape. On the other side, there are goods, badges, and brushwood that muggers take advantage for robbing people, hide in, and escape. However, muggers don't rob people randomly. Their victims have a profile. Street robbers search for victims who appear to have money or other valuables, for example, students and tourists. They also target people who appear to be most vulnerable, like young or adults. Offenders also look for victims who seem unaware of their immediate surroundings. Pedestrians who look lost, are using a cell phone or are listening to MP3 players. Finally, street robbers tend to take certain items during the robbery. Cash, purses, wallets, credit cards, mobile phones, MP3 players, jewelry, clothing, and other small electronic devices like cameras and smaller laptops computers. The object muggers steal has to have certain characteristics like this. Concealable. The robber can hide the items on his or her person. Removable. The robber can easily take the items for the victim. Available. The items are commonly found on potential victims. Valuable. The items are useful to the robber or others. Enjoyable. The items are fun to use. And disposable. The robber can easily sell the items or trade the items with others.
As it is a lonely place to walk on by at any time of the day, there is always high probabilities of getting mugged and even ambushed by muggers that come out of nowhere, even from under the bridge when there are blind spots for them to hide in, make their moves, and get on the run smoothly. Are weapons and violence involved in these attacks? A large part of the fear of being attacked is associated with the possibility of being hurt or injured. Over half of the victims reported injuries sustained during the course of the mugging. Another factor that increases the growing mugging rate is that the police is short on people, and the lack of police patrols around the place do not give any guarantee for those who have it as an everyday route. Because of the social conditions of Colombia, mugging has become a way of living for many. If there were more job opportunities, this matter wouldn't have increased so much. We made an interview to a girl called Maria, and she certainly said that the absence of police forces have caused a lot of trouble around the Metaima Bridge. She said they had called many times the police and they showed up after a long time. We identified a triangular area in which the University of Tolima and two police stations are located, and just in the middle, the Metaima Bridge is there. We wonder why there's no presence of police forces if there's two police stations around the Metaima Bridge.
On the other hand, there is something that called our attention when we were making the interviews, and it's that muggers do not work by themselves, they have people who help them. Let's listen what Maria said about this.
Ellos saben ubicar muy bien a qué horas no está la policía o tienen lo que se llama los campaneros, alguien que les avisa. Entonces para ellos es muy fácil atracar en este sitio, ahora que los negocios siempre permanecen llenos.
We identified a triangular area in which the University of Tolima and two police stations are located, and just in the middle, the Metaima Bridge is there. We wonder why there's no presence of police forces if there's two police stations around the Metaima Bridge.
There are several consequences of mugging in which passers-by are directly affected in their physical and economical sake, and the major population which pass around this area are students. In fact, the risk of injury and death which these people have during an attack further substantiates the public's fear of robbery. Due to most of mugging victims require medical attention. As we know, muggers use weapons to rob people, and this results in the victim's death because many people try to fight back. And when muggers use guns, the risk of being killed is higher than using knives. The consequences of mugging go beyond. It is affecting the economical sake, and not only the students but also the stores around the Metaima Bridge, in which this has caused continuous walkouts from them.
¿Se ha visto afectado el sitio de negocio?
Sí,
¿Cómo?
sí, porque la gente ya le da miedo, o sea, o sea, es muy peligroso.
And even people inside the places feel threatened and insecure. They are afraid to go on visiting these places. In the interview, Maria said that many robberies had been made inside the stores around this area. She described a robbery in which two people were in a famous ice cream store, and one of these persons was distracted by a man who took his bag and ran away. That's why the word Metaima Bridge has come down to alienations of all kinds. Another consequence has to do with the houses around, which are also being affected by mugging because they are less wanted when it comes to leasing.
As a conclusion, we want to give possible solutions to this problem. The first one is that the government should increase the street lighting, because if there were more street lighting over the bridge, there will be less risk of being mugged. Because, darkness helps muggers and makes easy to commit mugging. The second one, it isn't exactly a solution, but it is more a recommendation, because if you go walking around the bridge at night with gold chains and jewelry hanging all over your body, talking by the cell phone or listening to music by an M3 player, you are just asking for it. And finally, we propose anti-mugging campaigns, because people who go by the bridge need to be conscious about the insecurity problem so that the rates of mugging decrease. These campaigns consist of performing roleplays about mugging on the bridge to make them realize the dangers of being mugged on this place, and give people handbills with advices about what to do if someday they face a mugging. Well, this is the end of this video. Thank you very much for seeing this documentary. I hope you had enjoyed the video as we enjoyed recording it. See you the next time, but now with the consequences of the pubs around the university.